Okay. Am I streaming fine, online students? Yeah, we are also live on the YouTube. Can you all confirm if you can hear me properly? No response? There are. Yes? Okay. On the dashboard, fine. If not dashboard, the others are on the YouTube. Okay. Priyam, thanks for confirming. Okay. That's okay. Doesn't matter wherever you join. So that's what, I mean, till the time this confusion is there for online, offline, I'll go live on the YouTube also, because these sessions, I don't provide the recordings. Okay, so if you are on the YouTube, you can see, baad mein dekh lena, recordings on the YouTube is always there. That's the idea. Doing whatever we can in the conditions that we are in. Okay. So today's session is the discussion for the PYQ of Population Geography. We had one class earlier. This was on, I think, 23rd or 20th of July, tha, where I've discussed 6-7 questions to some extent. So I'll quickly check through. Okay. The more important questions I must take up is paper 2 population. So population topics are across both the papers. I'll take up. Okay. So if you all have, yes, you can look at the PYQs. If you have the question bank, you can have a look. So some of you may have noted this in the last class. 2023 mein, the questions on population, one was, okay. Yeah, human migration is a reflection of balance between push and pull factors. So some of you have struggled with the word balance. Okay? Let's take up the questions now. You can all see my screen. Okay. So section B, this is one question. Discuss critically of food and nutrition problems associated with the developing world. That's one question. Another question was, human migration is a reflection of balance between push and pull factors. Elaborate with reference to the recent diaspora. Has Malthusian theory been discredited in the contemporary times? Okay, so question 5 mein, 3 of them are from Pop Geography. Plus, this also is linked to partly population and discussions of inequalities. Okay, so maybe after regional planning we can do this. There's one question, 6B, which is the relationship between gender equity and human development. Provide a list of commonly used gender-related indices. And then we have one more population pe. The stages of demographic transition are a reflection of uneven economic development across the globe. explain with suitable examples. And these were the 5 questions directly. 7C, okay, then we have 6B and 5, B, C and D. Directly 5 questions. Indirect में ये वाला भी आ जाएगा. Explain population, resource use, development nexus in limits to growth. This is linked to the Malthus theory and why this model has been criticized intensively. Okay? So you can all make a jottings back in your room. Let me take up one by one. Let me take up first the food and nutrition problems associated with developing world. So the facts and data, I leave it to you. आपके notes में है, look up whatever you can on that. Plus some discussions. I think कल we had a case study also. Has Ajay sir discussed something on food aspects, or was it poverty? Migration क्या है? ठीक है. In the next 2 or 3 days, we'll take up some discussions on food and poverty also. Migration करवाया, that's okay. The PDF is available. Yes, it is. It's on the resource section on the website. You can go and take the questions from there. Not an issue. Okay. Let's start off now. The discuss critically the food and nutrition problem. This 2023 question. Question number 5. 5 ka B. Discuss critically the food and nutrition problems in or associated with the developing world. Okay? Associated with the developing world. Now, so food nutrition and the problem of developing world discuss करना है. And the question says discuss critically. Anybody can tell me what does the word discuss mean and what does the word critical mean? Okay, what are the meanings of this? Whenever you have the word discuss, it generally means write whatever you know about it. Okay, whether a problem है भी या नहीं, where is the problem, why do we have the problem, how deep is the problem, who is responsible. So discuss word is a very, very open word. Imagine 2 friends discussing, 2 people talking, discussing. So discussions में ना कोई boundary होता नहीं है. Okay, you have to write whatever you can in the space and time that you have. Okay, so it's a very open one. आप जो भी बता सकते हो बताओ. What does the word critical mean? Whenever you use the word critically, का मतलब होता है give evidence. Give evidence. Critically means, okay, no biases. No bias जब ही होगा ना जब आप कोई evidence दोगे. So evidence, example दो, evidence में data दो, evidence में कुछ logical reasoning देना. They say no, I am a critique of movies का मतलब क्या है? The word critique, what does it mean? That I am somebody, okay, who dispassionately, without biases, talks about movies. It's not that I am a fan of Akshay Kumar, so whatever he will act in, I'll say it's good. I am a fan of Telugu movies, so whatever Telugu movies, I'll say it's very nice. I do not like Hindi at all, so any Hindi movie is a bad movie. That is a bias. The word critique basically means, can I tell what is good and objectively tell what's good, and if not good, tell us why it's not good. I'm a critique of cricket. I'm a critique of the government. So word critique ko don't confuse with the word criticize. The word criticize is more negative connotations. Critique का मतलब होता है you are rational, you are objective, without biases. और जहाँ अच्छा है अच्छा बोलो. I'm a critique का मतलब है what I can see is good, I can also explain why it is good. तो वर्ड क्रिटिक का मतलब ये होता है, okay, that no biases, a very objective assessment. And how can anything be objective? जब आप डेटा दे पाएंगे, जब आप एग्जाम्पल दे पाओगे, और when you can give logical reasons of why things are the way they are. Okay, that's what it means. Essentially, discuss food and nutrition problems in the developing world. ठीक है? Now see, the answer, write about the problems of developing world. The problems होता है when I do not know how to structure the answer. So इसमें मैं क्या लिखूं? Okay, so how will the answer look like? So I always teach one thing, that in any answer writing, okay, what you must have is the content must be ready. All aspects. वो question पूछे ना पूछे. What is food security? Dimensions of food security, the reasons of food problems, give me some data of the food problems, okay, what are the reasons of why we have food problem, पूरा आपको notes पता होना चाहिए. So the content must be ready. Now I must pick up the specific ones and develop the answer. So before answer writing, you must develop what I call as a storyline. So some of you have done this work with me earlier. Storyline का मतलब होता है, the plot must be ready first. Okay, it's not that कि sir, okay, मैं पहले लिख लूंगा and then I will develop the plot. You cannot do that. It's like, before I actually go out, okay, somewhere, I must know what I must do. I'll walk the stairs, I'll take a cab, okay, drive, get down, walk, and my destination is there. So आपको पहले अपने आंसर का बनाना होगा प्लॉट. Okay, that I will write this first, then I will write this, then I will write this, then I will write this. ये करने के बाद में let me see content में से what can come here, what can come here, what can come here. So इसके लिए तो content है ही नहीं, ना आप ढूंढो. What mistake we do is we see a question and we start reading about it. तो मैंने क्वेश्चन दे दिया, सब मुझे पता नहीं क्या करना है, लेट मी सर्च द बुक्स, लेट मी सर्च इंटरनेट, लेट मी रीड मे बी सम नोट्स. बिकॉज ऑफ रिसेंसी इफेक्ट क्या होता है, से आई रेड एन आर्टिकल, और आर्टिकल मुझे अच्छा लगा. द आर्टिकल इज ओके, हाउ हंगर इज बिकॉज ऑफ पैंडेमिक, एंड आई लाइक्ड इट. अब मैं क्या करूंगा, दिस आर्टिकल विच इज नॉट अबाउट डेवलपिंग कंट्रीज अलोन, I will try to fix it into my answer now. That is the mistake we do. Or some of us, okay, read a book, read some, okay, internet article padha. The article ka food pe tha, but a different discussion was there. Because you like it, you try to fit into your answers. Okay, so then it becomes the problem of missing the question. So any question you have, okay, assuming that you have done some work already, आपने notes बना लिया, you have your synopsis ready, you have your understanding. Now first make the storyline, make the plot first. So if I was taking this question, मेरा plot कैसे होगा? Okay, and the plots can be infinite plots. So one plot can be that I will write about a difference of hunger in the developed world vis-a-vis the problem in the developing world. Then I will write about, okay, that developing world hunger are also different types. The hunger of South Asian countries is not same as hunger of Africa. It is not same as a hunger in parts of maybe those islands which have some of the PVTGs. It is not same as the hunger of maybe the agricultural farmers. एक तो बताया कि हंगर डेवलपिंग वर्ल्ड का अलग है, डेवलपिंग वर्ल्ड में भी अलग अलग टाइप के हंगर हैं. ओके, देन आई विल टॉक अबाउट कि स्पेसिफिकली द हंगर ऑफ अफ्रीका. देन आई विल टॉक अबाउट हंगर ऑफ साउथ एशिया, इन पर्टिकुलर इंडिया. Okay, then I'll talk about hunger of the conflict regions in general. Okay. Then I'll talk about there are certain general aspects of hunger in the developing countries. And finally, what can the programs or the solutions be? Whether मेरे पास content हो ना हो, I must have an ability of making a plot first. This is one plot. I'll start with developing countries ऐसा है, developed countries ऐसे हैं. There's some difference between the two. And in the developing countries, different areas have different type of hunger problems. Then I will pick and choose. Okay, this is a 10-mark question. I cannot write more than 2 pages, maximum 2 pages, but good if I write within 1.5 page. So मैंने 10 countries से उठा लेना है 3 regions, discuss them briefly, and then come towards conclusion. That's one type of a plot. Okay. I hope you are jotting down something. मैंने आपको notes dictate नहीं करना है यहाँ पर. I'm just telling you how an answer writing happens. Okay. Okay. So first I said this is my storyline 1. The first technique of in this answer I can apply. Absolutely, Satrit. I'll give you 3-4 storylines. One is difference of hunger in developed and developing world. Then, okay, hunger is different in different parts of the world of developing. Then I will do specifics. Specifics, developing world Africa, developing world South Asia and India, a developing world, I'll pick up specifically conflict areas of the world. I think ये अलग issues हैं. And something in general, what are the typical problems of hunger in the developing countries in general. I can change the plot. I can probably pick this and make it my second box also. Okay, difference है, and there are certain common aspects of developing countries. But for discussion, these areas are there, and I'll discuss 3. ये भी तरीका हो सकता है. ठीक है, so that's one way of discussing. Look at plot number 2. लिख लिया आप लोगों ने? All done? Think of a storyline 2. Okay, I can talk about first box, the extent of hunger in the developing world. Okay, and I can support this with a map. Support this with a map. Okay, then I can write about hunger developing world because of poverty. Hunger developing world because of conflicts. Hunger developing world exacerbated, aggravated by climate change. Hunger developing world, typical problems of women and the girl child. Okay, and because I know a bit more, I'll say let me discuss hunger in India. A conclusion. ये भी एक तरीका है plot का. So start with कि developing countries के unique problems हैं, or what are data. 1 in 3 people are there, hunger problems. In developing world, very high incidence of protein energy malnutrition. In the developing world, hunger problems are associated with problems related to early child nutrition and child malnutrition. Draw a map of the world and tell us कहाँ पर क्या है. Then specifically, hunger and poverty, hunger and conflicts, hunger and climate change, hunger and women issues in particular अलग से, then women, and then conclusion. So that's one way. हाँ, so ये देखो ये box fill up करना बाद में है. First, you should be able to break a topic. Okay, the problem is not that कि आपको content नहीं पता है या content नहीं ढूंढ लोगे. Okay, the problem is when I look at a question, which is worded like this. Okay, which is a straight question. So where do I start? Where do I end? That's my problem. ठीक है. So if I give you the boxes, अब जाके ढूंढो, या तो notes में होगा, या फिर आप ढूंढेंगे किताब से, or maybe part of some internet maybe. Yes, that's one way. Look at my third plot. I said there are infinite ways. It's like, it's like making a house. There are infinite ways how you can make a house. But pata to hona chahiye na, that in my house, I will prefer, okay, maybe a very nice kitchen, and I don't care about balconies. Or in my house, I need at least 2 bedrooms and 1 reading room. I don't care so much about a large living room. In my house, I must have a good, nice balcony, while I don't care so much about the living space. But what is to karo, aap pehle kya chahiye aapko? The plot is important first. Exactly. The plot is where the structuring of the answer lies. Okay. So for this question, you realize, no, for this question, there is no problem as such in understanding the question. Hunger of developing. In the other questions I've discussed last time, usme problem tha, question samajh mein nahi aa raha tha. Though that's a different challenge. The question kya bol raha hai? Okay, then we'll talk about the plot. But for this, okay, plot. And look at another plot. Look at another plot I'm discussing. Okay, say a storyline 3. Okay. What is hunger? And what are the types of hunger? Okay, 1 paragraph. Then, developing countries have which type of hunger? Developing countries will have hunger of production, yes. Hunger of affordability, yes. They also have hunger of accessibility. Okay, they'll also have hunger of, okay, related to assimilation. So say that. Okay, so what are the types of hunger applicable to the developing countries? Okay. Then I will map it to how hunger is related to population growth and population size. I will bring in Malthus here and discuss whether Malthus is right or not. Okay? It's an open question. So I'll say this Malthus thing seems to operate more on developing countries in some cases, but conclusion is not always. Okay. Then we'll talk about, okay, developing countries' hunger and food problems are not entirely because of, okay, population, okay, a growth alone. What are the other factors? What are the other factors? Okay, in other factors, I will discuss climate change a bit more detail recent times mein. In other factors, I will talk about problems of accessibility because of supply chain disruptions. Okay, so Malthusian theory is applicable maybe in some societies, in some vulnerable communities, but the problem is more related to some of these problems. Then I'll talk about that one common problem of hunger in developing countries is the problem of political systems. If you don't have democracy, good media, if you do not have, okay, the systems of social support programs, then the hunger problems becomes far more tricky. And there was this guy, who said, Amartya Sen said so, that any country which has good media and it has, okay, democracy will never have famines. You might have droughts, but famines nahi hoga. Why? Famines are not because of, okay, lack of food. Famine is because of a government not supplying food. Okay, famine is not because of failing agriculture. So when India had famines in the British times, agriculture tha hamara, but we were growing sugarcane, indigo, cotton, we were growing tea, and we are not having, okay, cash crops which could deal with the problems of hunger. Why? Because somebody was not reporting on democratic lines. So I'll bring a dimension here. The developing countries mein, the bigger problem of hunger is because of the political system. Example bata denge hum. Okay, talk about the British systems where India inherited the British policies of, Okay, some of the policies of cash cropping. Okay. So then I'll just talk about how developing countries have more serious concerns of women and child malnutrition. Women and child malnutrition. And then move on towards what can the solutions be. So first answer was very straight. Hunger in Africa, hunger in South Asia, hunger in some parts of Latin America, खत्म हो गया. Second, I went a bit more deep. Hunger, the first one, the first storyline was more regional in nature. Let's talk in terms of regions, कहाँ पर कितना hunger है. The second storyline was more in terms of themes. Hunger and climate change, hunger and conflicts, hunger and women issues. This was more thematic in nature. The third one, I deliberately want to bring in some contextual discussions along according to geographical concepts. Though I have brought in Malthus deliberately. I've talked about issues related to democracy deliberately, because remember how I will relate that hunger and malnutrition is one important aspect of quality of life. It's a very important aspect of a human development. It's a very important aspect, but a fundamental aspects of social well-being. Therefore, we'll talk in terms of democracy and issues of political systems. You got the idea about the three different ways I have developed stories? Third be easy hai because most theories are in notes. Khushi, in the class, I can only discuss as much. Hunger is such a huge issue. I can spend 1 week discussing hunger issues. I can take up hunger only in children and have 3-hour classes. I can discuss hunger only in areas of conflicts. So, through the topics, your ideas must open up, which is a good one, whatever you can write on. Okay? Eva, whatever storyline works for you, और आपको पता है आप कर सकते हो, you do it. But I want to see some depth of understanding in your answers. Okay, I can take one more storyline. I hope you're writing down storylines, all of you. बेटा ये सब कोई किताब में नहीं मिलेगा. If one of you can compile it, and hopefully you'll give me the credit, जाके भेज देना. ठीक है? You'll not find answer writing techniques in any book because they are very contextual. Okay, it all depends on आपका level of understanding क्या है. Okay, let's try one more. Okay, so I'll start my answer with how hunger and malnutrition is an important component of social development. Okay, for developing countries, hunger and malnutrition is one of the basic challenges. What in this हम क्या करेंगे? I'll explain कि there is a domain, domain of being है. Domain of being is a physical status, your health, your job, your place of residence. Okay. Domain of social well-being में hunger therefore is very, very important. Then I'll bring in how lot of problems of developing countries are related to hunger. जैसे hunger and malnutrition is one of the cause of migrations. Okay. Hunger and malnutrition is one of the cause of IMR and MMR issues. Indirectly, it is also the cause of growth rates. Lot of conflicts are because of hunger and malnutrition. Lot of rural poverty is related to hunger and malnutrition. इससे मैंने क्या किया? I'll establish that hunger and malnutrition is a very important issue in the developing countries. Developed countries can talk about critical technology, space exploration, उनका वो challenge है. Developed countries can talk about military security and production of arms and export, उनका वो challenge है. Developed countries can talk about AI का क्या consequences होगा. Developing countries का one basic aspect is talk about hunger and malnutrition. It's a very important basic development commitment because of the relationship of hunger, malnutrition with the other aspect of social development. Then I'll talk about, example. Okay, यहाँ पर लेके hunger and malnutrition and its relation to development problems in India. Hunger and malnutrition and its problem of development in India. बताओ facts क्या हैं? Okay, in India, the tribal locations have hunger problem. In India, the northern plains have more hunger problem. In India, higher hunger problems in women and girl child. Give me some data and facts here. Yes, ये problem है. Okay, and in other developing countries also. The next box will be similarly, other countries also have the same hunger and malnutrition problems as in India. So India type economy कौन सा होगा? I'll say ऐसे problem Brazil में है, ऐसे problem probably in parts of South Africa में होगा. Whatever is India type of countries, Indian type of problems probably in also countries like Thailand and Cambodia maybe. But then hunger and malnutrition problems in conflict regions थोड़े से अलग होते हैं. ये भी developing countries हैं. They have special problems of hunger. यहाँ पर hunger malnutrition problem होगा where you have problems of micronutrients. In conflict areas, basic survival issues and drinking water के problems होंगे. In areas of conflicts, यहाँ पर तो survival needs में आ जाएगा. And then you'll talk about, I'll move on towards how hunger and malnutrition in developing countries is a major issue even under SDGs. You know, SDG पता है आपको? SDG 1, SDG 2, poverty, hunger, malnutrition, drinking water, women issues. So mention some of them. How they are major problem in SDGs. Then I'll move on towards how climate change will aggravate hunger and malnutrition in the future also. It will aggravate the hunger and malnutrition in the future, climate change issues. एक और नया dimension, hunger and malnutrition as a consequence of skewed globalization. I've talked about, remember food aid की बात हो रही थी? Globalization is one of the reasons, because lot of global supply chains depend on Australia production, Russia's production. They depend on production from Canada. They depend on production from the US. यहाँ पर map बना के I can show you the directions from where. Yes, you can have a special case study how Russia-Ukraine war has impacted hunger in Africa. In Ukraine and Russian conflict में, they had this Black Sea Green Initiative. Right? It was a very important one to deal with problems of African hunger. And ultimately even that has collapsed. The case study case study how Russian-Ukraine war has impacted the problem in Africa. And finally, some conclusion. Conclusion, how developing countries may, to solve hunger malnutrition, very specifically, what type of WTO reforms do I need? What type of sustainable agriculture in terms of climate change do we need? How, if you know something, some of you have studied this, one big problem is dealing with problems of desertification. That is increasing the agricultural productivity issues as a solution. Fine. So now you tell me, ये जो हम division करते हैं, L1, L2 and L3, you realize one thing, even an L1 type of question, I can deal as an L3 question. That's my choice actually. Okay, question padhne mein L1 hai. Hunger, malnutrition in developing country, that's all. But how I deal with it, what depth I want to go into, that's entirely the choice of the answer writer. हम कितने डेप्थ में जा सकते हैं? Yes, and you are on. Anybody, any questions on this? I'm not going to dictate answers to you, if that was the expectation. My idea here is to tell you what it takes to write some answers. Yes, Sachrit, correct. Some of them have that depth. Absolutely. Okay? So try your own storylines. See, storyline का एक important है that you must not miss the key themes of the question. Hunger and nutrition is very important and developing countries. इसको मत मिस करो, फिर आपको जो लिखना है लिखें. Okay, so that was one question. Let's move on. In the last class, I think I've discussed all the other questions of 2023. Yeah, we had one more class that was a closed session, not on YouTube. What's that question, Pranshu? कितने देर तक क्लास होगी? जब आप बंद कर दें. Supply chain reforms. Good afternoon, Nadia. Oh, Nadia, you were the older student. I remember you. Afghanistan, now Bangladesh, yes. Temporal pattern, यही problem है. Okay, you are thinking in a very rigid way. Like, you can add, who says no? Create a scope for yourself. Acha. So in the previous class, I've discussed some of the questions. Let me take up the new ones. I think ये वाला हो जाएगा. This is a straight question. Aging population has adverse social and economic consequences. Are you aware of this one? No problem here. Okay. Explain with examples. Okay. You want an example on this also? Aging population has adverse social and economic. This actually is a straight one, not much of play around required here. ठीक है, okay, let me try this one. मेरे पास इतना ही टाइम है. It's up to you where you want to engage me. Aging population has adverse social and economic. Has adverse social and economic consequences. Okay, explain with examples. Explain with examples. This was asked in 2021. 2021. Yes, okay. So again, let's try some storylines. Okay? इसमें keyword क्या है? Aging problems, and there are social and economic consequences. My suggestion, social economic को अलग-अलग ना करना, because then you can't deal with the problem properly. You'll get trapped in the content. Keep social economic together. Okay, of course, 2-3 social problems क्या हैं? Social problems related to a sense of isolation, social problems related to even problems of security. Social problems are also health problems. Economic problems, Okay, economic problems. Okay, from the perspective of old people, their financial security, okay, their income issues, their investments and so on. And from the perspective of the country, the spending that we need to support the old population. Okay, so broadly यही है, okay, 3-4 points. ठीक है? So now how to develop it? Okay. So now storyline में world proportion of old population, okay, and how it is increasing. Okay, give me last 3-4 decades ka data. As of now, the old population, okay, is approximately about 5 to 7%. It has increased from as less as 3 or 4% in the last 30 odd years. And the next 30 or 50 years, it will be as much as approximately 10 to 15%. कुछ बता देना इतना old populations बढ़ रहा है. I'll start with this one. Then, okay, maybe a global map, okay, where the old population proportion is more than 10% across. Okay, draw a map. It's up to me. Some of you can say, I'll draw a map of maybe where the old population is a problem already. It's your choice. So I write itne old problems, old people hai, and how they're increasing, and how we have the map distribution. Okay. Then I can use a schematic, diagrammatic. Okay. What are the problems of old population? Okay. So one type of diagram can be a typical, old population, financial problems, health problems, psychological problems, security problems, problems related to investments and social spending. ऐसे बना सकते हो. But generally, I recommend think on the type of diagrams you can draw. Schematics are very powerful tools of discussing some ideas. So if I was in your place, I would have discussed something of this kind. I mean, I'm thinking aloud. Okay, say this is the problems of the old population. Okay, there are social problems and there are economic problems. Social problems related to isolation, social problem related to loneliness, and then there are social problems related to their health and well-being. Okay, I'll divide like this. And economic problems, okay, related to the old population and their lack of financial security, and economic problems of the state related to provision of amenities and social security. Okay, and I'll say that this problem is related to this aspect. Okay, so I'll draw a diagram which is informative. It is a bit more interactive types. Okay, this is definitely a bit more better looking than a diagram like this. So play with the diagram types. I can draw a diagram something of this kind. I mean, up to you. Old population, and the problems. So this is problems related to age and loneliness and health issues. And then there are certain critical problems related to their financial security, related to their physical security. Okay, and maybe I can write something here. I can write something here. So try making such type of interesting diagrams. Okay, this is the most boring diagram. ये वाला, ये देखने का मन भी नहीं करेगा. Okay, so this is like your thought end. I'm trying to attract my reader कि देखो मेरे diagram में भी बहुत information है. Okay, try something interesting. Up to you how you want to develop it. ठीक है, all done? Okay, so I said my answer is that old people are there, they're increasing. This is the map of the old people and diagrams of the problems. Now I will specifically discuss, okay, aging problems related to, okay, economic issues. Economic issues. इसमें, okay, there are problems of a shrinking workforce, problems of a shrinking taxation, therefore problems of shrinking social sector spending. Social sector spending. Now, इसका consequence है, okay, इसका consequence है that in many developed countries, this leads to anti-migration sentiments. Okay, this leads to, okay, racism and conflicts. Okay, because old population not willing to let go of their benefits, and the migrants are seen as outsiders. It was happening in Germany or France or Sweden or Denmark. उनके पास ज़्यादा working people नहीं है. Okay, so they want migrants, and the old population resents them. Problems of racism, of conflicts. Then my box will have what are the aging problems of developing countries. Aging problems of developing countries. So most developing countries में, okay, basic health amenities are a challenge. Basic health amenities, basic, okay, treatment of diabetes, basic treatment of, okay, say hormonal malfunction, basic treatment of cardiology, basic, so health issues, what we call as the tertiary health care is not strong. While they have invested in primary health care, the tertiary health care not strong. So वो एक challenge है. The aging problem का एक और problem again है that this is becoming a sizable proportion of, okay, a dependent population. They are becoming a sizable, okay, population of dependent population. Okay. Then I will have another box, specifically aging population and India. Aging population and India. So talk in terms of age structure, okay, how the pyramid is now slowly becoming inverted, how dividend jo hai, it's good, but if the aging increases too much, I'll have special problems there. I can add a box, okay, a special concerns of women and aging problems. ये अलग से रखो women issues के लिए. Women old is, okay, a special problem of the population, and then talk about the solutions. Okay, old age, okay, nutritional security, old age pension security. कल परसों पार्लियामेंट में एक थोड़ा सा क्वेश्चन उठा था. रेणुका चौधरी has raised an issue. Apparently RBI has said that population more than 60 are now liabilities in terms of credits. That they are not the good population to give loans to. So the credit worthiness of population more than 60 is now declining. तो आपको क्रेडिट कार्ड नहीं मिलेगा, आपको होम लोन्स नहीं मिलेगा, आपको कार लोन्स नहीं मिलेगा. Okay, you will not get good rates in terms of health insurance. It's actually one type of discrimination now. Okay, you are more than 60 is almost like you are not worthy enough to get any support. It's a big issue ho gaya. So if you are smart there, bring that in without mentioning Renuka Chaudhary. Okay, that is a perception that the old populations are no longer credit worthy. That is discrimination. That is ageism in some cases. It's a mindset issue. And unfortunately, RBI says so. अब करते रहो बात, whether this is a freebie or not. Okay, and end the answer there. ठीक है? अच्छा, now one innovation I can do here is that aging problem जो है, I can talk about how aging problem is not an issue discussed under DTM population. In fact, none of the theories talk about aging problems. जितने भी theories of population है, they all talk about problems of growth of population. So for DTM theory, okay, जो stabilization phase है, it's a good stage to be in, right? In the Marxist theory, the inequalities is only in terms of the class struggles and inequality in terms of worker and owners. So none of the theories have discussed about aging population as a special issue. So that way I can map कि देखो मुझे ये theories भी पता है and I'm using it in my answer. That's your geographical element. Now see, this is one mistake you guys do. देखो एक तो answer writing as a skill develops very slowly. Okay, invest more time in writing one good answer, right, than writing many answers. Basically I'm answering your point, okay Anjali, तर बहुत time लगेगा, okay, time लगेगा because life में कभी आपने सोचा नहीं, right? These type of questions demand applied way of studying, not mechanical, node based studying. Questions are not like that anymore. In fact ये problem GS में भी है. So what you think कि class कर लिया, notes हो गया, हो जाएगा, नहीं होने वाला. You'll get frustrated there. So once you have done the class, your basic content, you know the term, DTM theory, Malthus theory, age structure, pyramid is inverted, the problems of aging, malnutrition, ये terms आपको समझ में आ गया. अब हम apply कर रहे हैं. So do not manufacture answers right now. पूरे हफ्ते में 2 answer लिखो, no problem. And when you write the first draft, don't care about the words. Care more about question समझ में आया कि नहीं, and care more about whether the storyline आपका set हुआ कि नहीं. Third, write the answer without the word limit in mind. लिख लो पहले. ऐसा नहीं कि आप लिख लोगे 10 पेज, उतना औकात अभी नहीं है आपका, right? You write it down. 2 पेज हुआ, 3 पेज हुआ, 4 पेज हुआ, लिख डालो पहले. Then you start editing, because 4 पेज हो गया. Okay, now I must remove this, or this I'll compress as a diagram. These two I'll combine together. Or when I wrote this, let me try to interchange in terms of priority. ये आपका third level पे काम होता है. Most of us don't have the patience, okay, of writing it second time. So your first answer is actually a rough work. And if I actually go by my instincts, मैंने फाड़ देना है उसको. Right? I should not be actually seeing that answer. So your good answer is the second or third draft. And now you have the liberty of your laptops. So answer को type करके लिखो पहले, ताकि आप edit कर पाओ. The final version उसको हाथ से लिखना. Because if you write in your hand, okay, बड़ा painful होता है काटना दोबारा. And when I tear the paper, it's more painful. Okay, एकदम कलेजे को एकदम है ना, you feel like कि बाहर मिलो बताता हूँ अंधेरे में. So ये problem है, 3 problem को please avoid. One is it takes more time, so be it. But अभी अगर time नहीं दोगे, या time आप मेंस के time में देने वाले हो, so give time now. Okay, that's one. Second, don't write too many answers. Write 1 answer, 2 answers a week. Third, in the first draft, don't care about the words. Okay, write जो भी words बनता है लिख डालो पहले. Then you edit it again. Arrange, edit. Okay, discuss among your friends कि मैंने ऐसे लिखा, क्या ठीक लग रहा है, नहीं लग रहा है. Okay, then you write the final draft. You submit for corrections. In fact, some of you can maybe share your storyline, okay, for corrections. कि सर मैं ऐसे सोच रहा हूँ. Okay, rather than jumping the answer directly. Right? And as you learn more, you'll realize the answer can become even more interesting. Let's say, okay, many of you have not done climate change yet. Right? When I teach climate change, it becomes an interesting dimension. I have not taught, okay, for some of you, I have not taught issues related to regional planning yet. अगर वो पढ़ लोगे, आप उसको ऐड कर दोगे. Okay, some of you can apply specifically the aging problems of tribal populations and see what happens there. Okay? So go slow. Anyways, okay, so that's another learning. Okay, some answers or questions दिखने में लगेंगे L1, but वो L3 है according to your treatment. दिखने में तो है, it's like, you know, okay, I go to geographical thought. Fine. It's the idea of development. At a simple level, development is poverty. Problems, deal with it. You go deeper, now development is issues of social well-being. So it can be an L1 question. It's your ingenuity, how you make it an L3 answer. This is entirely your interest. It's like, you know, I've asked you, tell me your name. Tell me your name is an L1 answer, L1 question. But I can twist it to discuss what my name means, how my name was given, and how my name inspires myself, okay, and what I think, okay, what I can contribute because of the attributes associated with my name. A simple open question, I can go deep. Okay, let's move on. So aging population. Mobility and migration, Malthus, these topics we have done. Population transition in context of decline of fertility and socio-economic development. Wait, the whole page is not visible. Let me. That's fine now. Acha, can you write an answer on this one? Let's try this one. What do you mean by climate migrants suggest policies and programs for their resettlement? Likho question, likho. What do you mean by climate migrants suggest policies and programs for their resettlement? Adhiraj, ये सवाल पूछ भी क्यों रहे हो? How important is underlining the keywords? Okay, that's your choice. But understanding is more important. Okay, what do you mean by climate migrants? And suggest policies and programs for the resettlement. So forget about आपने क्या क्या पढ़ा हुआ है. Let's try and develop from scratch. This question, it's one trick I tell, that if a question has some technical words, explain that. Like, who are the aging population? आप समझा भी सकते हो. Different countries, different societies have defined aging population differently. In some countries, more than 60 hai. In some countries, more than 65 hai. In some countries, okay, proposal hai more than 70. So aging population is entirely a governance issue. आप समझा सकते हैं आप. So if a question has some technical words and you think you can discuss deep, then explain it. यहाँ पर तो पूछा directly है कि tell us what are climate migrants. ठीक है, and it's impossible you can define it bookishly. Try it your way. They're also called as climatic refugees, okay, who have been impacted because of climate change driven extreme events. Perfectly fine. Okay, so climate refugees or climate migrants are one category of migrants where the reasons of migrations are related to climatic disasters or climatic adverse events. So migrants, okay, migrating because of droughts, because of floods, because of cyclones, because of issues related to heat waves and forest fires are some examples of climatic migrants. In recent times, climatic migrants have increased in the proportion of overall migrations. While we have data related to drought migrations, data related to migrations because of cyclones, but they must be classified as migrants because of climate. In the future, because of sea level rise and land submergence, there will be a new category of climate migrants which are escaping loss of land along the coastal regions and islands. Did you get idea what I'm doing here? देखो जब भी मुझे freedom मिल जाता है ना, then I try to take it towards contemporary issues. Climate migrants is not simply escaping droughts. I added the idea of sea level rise and migration because of this. Climate migrants are an important concern because in the future, climate refugees will increase dramatically. Okay. Why? Because of 4 reasons. Most climate extreme events are in tropical areas, and tropical areas have more population proportion, 1. Second is, tropical areas, the bulk of the populations are in agriculture related activities, which will therefore increase the more and more climatic migrants. Number 3, okay, lot of climatic migrants will be island nation, okay, of the tropical areas, Indonesia, Nauru, Seychelles, Maldives, okay. And the 4th reason is that in most of the tropical countries, the policies of development are not tuned to deal with the problems of climate change issues. Question पूछा था, what are climate migrants? I've expanded it to explain what are the categories, where will they be, and what problems are they facing. All fine here? Then you come second part. Okay. Support policy. So it's like this. What are climate migrants? What are climate migrants? And suggest policies and measures. So what I'm doing here is, सच बताओ, do you have much content on policies and programs? कोई नहीं पढ़ा होगा, not just you. As teachers also, I would not have studied specifically for climate migrants. ठीक है? तो मैं कहा यार यहाँ पर तो कंटेंट मेरे पास आता है नहीं. मैंने जनरल बताना है कि take care of them, don't let them die of hunger, replace them, okay, or rehabilitate them, okay, children, वही कहानी करना है. So let me play here, I said. So what is climate migrants? I said, who are they? Why are they there? And where do we have it? और यहां पर मुझे ज्योग्राफी दिखा देना है. Tropical areas, island regions, agriculture dependence, sea level rise. तो यहीं पर मैंने इतना ज्ञान दे देना है कि एग्जामिनर यहां का भूल जाएगा. See, your writing is a skill in impressing your examiner, as simple as that. अगर एग्जामिनर को ड्राइंग करके इंप्रेस कर लो तो कर लो ड्राइंग, ओके, या भगवान के नाम में, ओके, ये करके, ओके, मांग लो कि राम नाम सत्य, गिव मी मार्क्स, whatever works. So my technique is, wherever I can, without diluting the content of the question, let me elaborate it. So I tried, who are they? Very simple. They are those who are escaping climate related disasters. What are that? Cyclones, okay, droughts, floods, forest fires, cloud bursts. थोड़ा सा मैंने geography डाल दिया, 2-3 points. Okay, fine. Then I have said, who are they? A special category of climatic migrants are also escaping the sea level rise. ये islands and tropical areas में ज़्यादा होने वाला है. Okay, where do we have them? Okay, I said in the future, right now many of them are future में भी tropical areas में ज़्यादा होने वाले हैं. Why? Because tropical areas have more population. Tropical areas have higher dependence on agriculture, which climate change will impact more. Okay, more because, okay, tropical areas includes, okay, islands and coastal areas, which also have very large populations. And of course, because the governments are not tuned to dealing with climate disasters. Okay, so climate refugees are very important categories of future people of concerns. ठीक है? All fine here? अच्छा, yes? Yeah, the internal refugees. Fine, but ultimately they're migrants. Refugees a special category है when they cross the borders, you are saying. कोई दिक्कत नहीं, आप दोनों पॉइंट लिखो. I will not get trapped in those nuances. मुझे डिस्कस करना है कि क्लाइमेट एक फैक्टर है. Now see, if I'm a bit more smarter, I'll say that climate migrants are best understood in the push-pull theories of migration. कोई और थ्योरी इसके बारे में बात नहीं करता. Where climate change is an important push factor. Climate change is a major adverse condition. Okay. In the future, this proportion will increase. Done? Okay. Now, I'll move on to, okay. Before we discuss the solutions and programs, okay, we need to understand what are the problems and the challenges associated with, okay, climate migrants. The solutions मैं हवे में नहीं दे सकता. I must first tell what are the problems that we are facing. The problems क्या हैं? One problem is that most of the climate migrants are poor agricultural farmers, because the most common type of climate problems are droughts and floods and agricultural collapse. So अगर programs बनाना है, have more programs around farming issue. That's one. Okay. And number two, climate migrants in most cases are going to be permanent migrants, not seasonal. So the type of climate change we will have, okay, पहले क्या था? Droughts of 3 months, बाहर जाओ वापस आ जाना. Okay, floods of 1 month, बाहर जाओ वापस आ गए. What I'm saying is now, if I look at the intensity of climate problems and global warming, the climate migrants will now become permanent migrants. It basically means that they are okay, losing their homes and they are losing their occupations in the, okay, source regions permanently. That's one problem I identified. A third problem I identify is that climate migrants में और climate migration intensity जो होगा ये phases में होगा. My guess, initial phases, okay, the out migrants will be young, okay, males, where the females and the dependent are left behind. Initially ऐसे होगा. Eventually, okay, the entire families must move. तो मेरे programs होने चाहिए, they must deal with both of them. The programs where, okay, the young have moved, take care of the families left behind, and eventually find solutions for the entire families are moving out. Okay. Third problem, or the fourth problem, climate migrants, because they are farmers, because they are from rural areas, this will result in rural to urban migrations more, which means the challenges will be related to urban infrastructure and urban, okay, economic security. Think about it. ये कोई पढ़ाने वाला है नहीं आपको. What does the type of problem look like? What does, okay, the nature of problem look like? फिर हम बताएंगे. Now solutions you understand, right? Solutions यहाँ पर होगा remittance economy and special programs for children, women and old population. Okay, programs related to urban infrastructure, urban skilling missions, urban economic expansion to absorb them. And there are solutions where I must look at agriculture-based solutions also, because most of them are farmers. How do you engage them? Okay, you can add a point. Okay, there will be special problems for climate migrants escaping island nations. बाकी केस में क्या है? The climatic migrants are not crossing the borders. Border के अंदर ही हैं. Okay, so people of Bihar going into parts of UP. People of Odisha going to parts of Andhra. People of the Konkan coast may be moving inward towards Marathwada. ये फिर भी manageable है. What about entire Maldives moving out? What about entire Nauru moving out? Entire Seychelles moving out? Low-lying areas, Bangladesh. Understand, when Bangladesh submerges, ये कहाँ जाएगा? Right? And Bangladesh is barely 100 meters above the sea level. ठीक है? ये international crisis बनने वाला है. Okay, so this is a special problem which must be at international forums, UN deliberations, maybe involve, okay, the human rights commissions and deal with climatic refugees at the global level separately. मुझे 2-3 याद है. ह्यूमन राइट्स का पता है मुझे, इंटरनेशनल कोवेनेंट ऑन सोशल राइट्स, इंटरनेशनल कोवेनेंट ऑन पॉलिटिकल राइट्स. मैंने वो चिपका देना यहाँ पर. See, I have to play with what I know, no? So something from my notes, something I'll search and develop the answer. Seems like Bangladesh has already submerged. Oh well, Gaurav. It's a interesting one, Bangladesh. Sheikh Hasina wins with crazy majority, 200 odd seats. नीचे बाकी वाले 60-70-11 सीट वाले थे. Okay, and you know, and student anger, that's important. Okay. A reservation played a role. A wrong reservation was the issue. Yes. Anyways, okay. So you got a sense of what I mean by answer structuring now? Recent landslides, please add, absolutely. Okay. India case में special mention. Okay, migration from the hills will be a big challenge. Okay, Kerala, Wayanad case study में move on. Wayanad region, Kerala का, is one of the more prosperous regions. Plantation, resort economy, okay. Lot of out migration to Middle East from Wayanad region. Wayanad was the more prosperous part. Okay, agriculture, okay, and they have the biggest. कितना 400-500 हो चुके, I'm sure. Officially at least. Unofficially, God knows. Okay, how much we may have lost. All good? Okay. So that's a question you can try. Okay, let me see what else. Aging. Climate migrant question was 2019. 2019. Acha, let's look at this one. 2017. 17 का question है. Define quality of life. Define quality of life. Oh, I had कोई बात नहीं. Okay. Define quality of life and explain its parameters with adequate examples. क्या लगेगा आपको? L1, L2, L3 क्या है ये question? Again, all of you are circumspect. You understand one thing, that any question can be converted into an L3 answer. On the face of it, L1 because समझ में आ रहा है. L1 because it is straight from syllabus. L1 because it does not look like a tricky question. So fine, L1 question hai. But can I write an L3 answer on this or not? That's a question up to me. So those who have done geographical thought, you should try understanding, explain its parameters. You explain parameters. Why quality of life deals with issues of psychological health. It deals with issues of relationships, social capital. Quality of life is not simply about income levels and health levels. It's also about security, housing. Remember the 7 parameters of D.M. Smith? Okay, expandable to, okay, what the concept of development otherwise also, and give examples. It says quality of life, take it towards social well-being. So all of you try, okay, an answer storyline for, let's see. अब अपने आप try करो. This is the question. Define quality of life and explain its parameters with adequate examples. Try a storyline. You must justify that link, Aradhya. So, Anindya. So, can we take it towards gross happiness? Yes, you can. But आपको समझाना पड़ेगा आप उधर क्यों जा रहे हो. Bhumika, does it get more marks मतलब? If you write L3 type, yes. उसमें doubt क्यों है? So, give me a storyline first. Yes, Sachrit, you can. But put that in a storyline. It's like, the question says, write a short note about rains. Okay. So, can I write about deserts? Yes, you can. Okay. But आपको बनाना पड़ेगा story. Rain is this, rain does that, rain does this, rain is here. There are places that have no rains, we call that as deserts. Okay. Places with good rains, if the rains becomes uneven, climate change issues, they can become deserts. So, आपको link बनाना पड़ेगा. Why are you going towards happiness? Why going towards a concept of the social issues? The question पूछा है quality of life. Prakash asks, can I add Malthus? Yes, you can. Okay, but कैसे लिखोगे वो समझो पहले. मैं तो सलमान खान ऐड कर देना है इसमें. But you should know the link. Quality of life is good health, happiness, peace, compassion, relationship, and it is not like Salman Khan. Okay, so I have added there. Definition, why important, subject interpretation, parameters governing it, problems affecting achievements. Okay, Adiraj, looks nice. DM Smith factors directly. Anindya, I'll say no. You can't start with social well-being. आप miss कर गए question. Okay, for those not initiated. Okay, listen to this. ठीक है, बता देता हूँ आपको. Quality of life is not a generic idea about good quality life. नहीं. Quality of life is a technical concept. Okay, so how I will write down? Quality of life is an important measure in defining and measuring development. Okay, quality of life as a concept was given in 1970s, if you know the name, okay, David Morris. Okay, he gave a concept called as physical quality of life index, which included parameters of IMR and parameters of life expectancy. So quality of life was about social parameters to measure development. Okay, this concept, quality of life as a concept, okay, was an attempt to expand development beyond the traditional classical and neoclassical approach, where development was equated with economic growth, income, savings and investments. तो ये आपने समझाया कि quality life है क्या. Most of you have taken it okay, generic way में. It's a technical word. आपको पढ़ाया हुआ concept है. Maybe your batch, I have not mentioned the name David Morris. अब लिख लो. 70s में this idea was given. Quality of life. So very, very obvious matter of fact. It is what? It is a measure of development. It's a way how we define development. वो नहीं लिख कर आप कुछ भी लिख रहे हो. Quality of life is a technical idea. 70s में develop किया गया. जिसमें कि social parameters add किया हमने. IMR and life expectancy. और क्यों किया हमने? Because we wanted to expand development beyond economic parameters. We wanted to add social aspects in development measurement and development achievements. Done here? Okay. The third point, however, in recent times, the quality of life concept has been expanded. Okay. First by a human development report in its concept of a human development index. So quality of life includes income parameters, health parameters and also education parameters, which otherwise was ignored in the original quality of life concept. Okay, because quality of life is more about choices. It is more about developmental prospects and not simply attainment, okay, of economic, okay, status. Okay, then add on and say, next you say, okay, that in 1990s or post 1990s, there's a new concept of social well-being. In this, the quality of life includes environmental quality of life, it includes quality of residence, it includes quality of employment and place of work, it also includes quality of life in terms of physical and economic security. Right? And this is why the geographical thought, guys, that okay, development under the welfare approach is now not limited to economic aspects alone. So development is more all round. So quality of life is not simply in terms of education, in terms of health. ये आपने expand कर दिया. Quality of life, environmental quality, quality of air we breathe, the drinking water that we have, the quality of land that we live on, quality of life in terms of the place of residence, the housing, in terms of not just jobs hai ya nahi, what's the quality of working conditions, wo bhi important hai. Okay, and the rest. Therefore, the parameters to measure quality of life, okay, is dynamic. Ab likho the parameters according to D.M. Smith, the 7 parameters. This thing kar lena aap. Yes, fine. move it towards quality of life also has a spiritual angle to it. Quality of life also has, okay, a relationship component to it. However, in measurement of quality of life, there is no objective measure yet. तो क्वेश्चन आगे पूछ रहे हैं ना, क्या पैरामीटर्स होना चाहिए? हम ये कह रहे हैं कि अभी कोई पैरामीटर है नहीं. How to measure relationships? We don't have a measure to measure spirituality. We don't have a measure for measuring mental health. So these parameters are important, but are not well quantified in any developmental formula. However, okay, Bhutan has tried to define quality of life in terms of, okay, in terms of happiness index. अब उसके बारे में लिखो. So I hope you are seeing how I am repeatedly using the term quality of life. Quality of life ये था. Quality of life हमने change क्यों किया? What was the older idea of quality of life? तो लिखना मुझे पूरा development पे लिखना है. Okay, but you should know how to bring it in. All good? And the answer and say this, as of now, the parameters are 7, okay, but no index captures it as a part of development index. The closest we have come to is, okay, in terms of happiness index, okay, defined by Bhutan, and World Bank का भी index है, okay, however, it's still a work in progress. Stop there. Go back and check your question now. Do you think write-up is according to question or not? Please write down whatever I'm saying on the board. Be alert and jot it down. Yes, absolutely. So, do not write random answers. आप जो लिखना है आंसर, write on these 4-5 I have discussed. Okay. आप लोग क्या हो ना, रैंडम लिख के लेके आ रहे हो, तो पढ़ाया भी नहीं है और मैं बोला भी नहीं जा रहा है कि यार this is not the right way. So now you know. I said wait for at least one complete unit. I've taught the storyline, given you some ideas. Now go and search and write answers. A lot of answers will happen from your textbooks itself. Okay. Otherwise, ढूंढना internet, no issues. Yes, correct. Adhiraj, Kappa 97. Kappa is a sector in Greater Noida. You come from there. We can do, absolutely, in these type of questions, schematics are very interesting. Say if I am making a schematic, quality of life. I like playing with geometrical figures. Okay, so quality of life, triangle बताया, circle बताया, चलो एक pentagon try करते हैं. Okay. Let me try a pentagon diagram. Quality of life क्या था? So I'll start with, okay, maybe here. Okay, what was the older concept in 1970s? So 1, 2, 3 points. Okay, the concept as developed under a human development index. 1, 2 points here. Okay, इतने points हैं कि नहीं? हो जाएगा, चलो ठीक है. Okay, what are, okay, the more modern concepts of quality of life and social well-being? Okay, we have some points here. Social well-being, but okay, I will draw this separately. So this tells me about, okay, the three dimensions how quality of life has been developed. So now I'll say, okay, a separate diagram, differentiate. Okay, so quality of life defined, okay, but parameters not measured. I can add some points here. I've understood what quality of life is, but I can't measure spirituality. I can't measure what is happiness objectively. I can't measure social capital objectively. So something like, okay, these are to be developed concepts in quality of life measurement. Develop your diagrams now. The quality of diagrams you draw is one indication of your understanding also. आपका अंडरस्टैंडिंग डीप होगा ना, आपके डायग्राम्स और इंटरेस्टिंग बन जाएंगे. तो इसी में मैंने ऐड कर देना है. ओके, सो इफ आई ड्रॉ दिस एवोल्यूशन ऑफ क्वालिटी ऑफ लाइफ, तो अलग कलर में डालो इसको. बैंगनी पसंद है, बैंगनी बनाना. यू लाइक येलो, फेवरेट वाला, or beige, whatever. How the concept has developed, and I'll put this as, okay, challenges in the quality of life measurement. Go and improvise this. Make it smarter in whatever way you can. No, I had a student with me, 2-3 of them, but one I remember, okay, was Anjali Shrotia. Anjali Shrotia is now in Haryana. Okay, I think some of you have met her when she came for one workshop. I don't know if that batch is here or left. She was extremely smart in making diagrams. So, kuch bhi question pakda do na, any question, diagram pad ke, it's like, okay, this girl knows the topic. As an examiner, मुझे आगे पढ़ने का जरूरत भी नहीं है. Now, as examiner, the worst thing I have to do is read an answer. I have got no incentive. I don't get good money. I don't have time. वैसे भी checking paper का मतलब है you are retired. And I'm checking paper of people who have got no background in geography, taught by a teacher who does not have background in geography again. The guy has a lot of ego issues. He's a senior professor, retired होके, okay, and ना पैसे कमाया ठीक से, okay, और ना ही he has become the, okay, more renowned teacher. He's very upset, okay, and many of the professors may have had dreams to become IAS officers. ठीक है, तो समझ में आ रहा है कितने खुंदस से बैठा होगा ये. Okay, this man, और दिखाई भी नहीं दे रहा है, some of you with the handwritings that you have, okay. So he does not want to see answer at all. His only motivation is check करके खत्म करो. That's all. The safest answer is 3-4 out of 10. ना अच्छा है ना बुरा है, लटका दिया बीच में आपको. So if this examiner gets an interesting diagram or interesting perspective, then he's okay, this guy deserves. So you spend time in developing good sketches, spend time in developing good diagrams, good maps. And Anjali had that quality. You give her any question, many of the answers I give you as model answers, milega aapko, are Anjali's answers. Like, and she would sit in any class of answer writing of mine. Okay, she would use geography techniques in other GS papers also. And because geography control में आ गया था, ऐसे geography आप use कर लोगे सारे पेपर में. Paper 3 पूरा geography है. If I just remove the economic dimensions of export, import, छोड़ दो, पूरा paper 3 is geography. Roads, okay, connectivity, agriculture issues, industrial development, location, inequality, सारा geography है. Paper 2 is, okay, I'll say 30-40% geography because of inequality discussions. No other GS will teach you the way we will teach you what is rural development, what is hill area development, what is drought development, what's watershed management. उसने सारे में यूज कर रहा था. She was good at that. You are getting, Eva, when you see your model answers, some of the answers you'll get are her answers. एक और last year he got 310, I think, Vikas. Okay, he also was expert in, okay, case studies and regional maps. I think Vikas also has addressed some of you. Vikas Yadav, he got into first into IPS. Now I think he's getting into IAS shayad. 310 marks, okay, with case studies. He was good at case studies and regional maps. Give him any question, he had mastered 4 states. Professor, मैं 4 शिकना मुने okay, R&D कर दिया है. Because he joined as a तहसीलदार in UP. So अपने region का map पता था उसको. He has influence of Haryana. He knows that. Delhi he knows. And he has studied a bit of Gujarat and Rajasthan. I said, why Gujarat? Sir, Gujarat leadership India ka. I have to mention that. So any issue you give him, he has Gujarat ka district pata hai, district kahan par kya hai, and play around with it. 4 state mein pura 2 paper likh ke aa jana hai. That's smartness. No? That is something you have developed on your own. Okay. So regional maps, case studies, okay, this type of answer through diagrams, and use data. Data, facts, enrich your answers. Okay, 300 plus, 290 plus is fairly okay, manageable. Hi Hassan. You joined late. Okay. So I'm done with this one. एक और question. We have some time. ठीक है. Okay. जो बर्बाद हो रहे हैं वैसे भी बर्बाद हैं, उनका क्या करें? Okay. Explain the concept of social capital in relation to India. 2017 question. This year I'm expecting social capital question. Explain the concept of social capital in relation to India. It's a huge canvas answer. इसमें कहां से कहां पहुंच जाओगे, you'll have a lot of scope. Discuss the concept of social capital in relation to India. 2017 का क्वेश्चन है. विक्रम, मेरा कोर्स ज्वाइन कर लो. कि नहीं पढ़ा है, हम तो पढ़ाने के रेडी हैं. हम तो बेटा यहां पे गोद में पढ़ाते हैं बैठाकर. ओके, come and ask my offline students. It's like this. आपने नहीं पढ़ा है, पढ़ना पड़ेगा. Okay. आप खुद पढ़ना चाह रहे हैं, manage it. अगर ज्वाइन करना चाह रहे हैं, decide fast. But you cannot keep it, okay, pending for कि हाँ कर लूंगा. And सारा fight इसी 5 महीने का है. If 2025 is your attempt. Okay, I'll look into that. Yes, Sachrit. उतना दूर जाने की जरूरत नहीं है. Okay, that's stretching the concept a bit too much. Talk in the more relevant concepts. Chalo, think of the answer first. Let's see. Before I give the answer to you. The one technique of answer writing is recall the syllabus of your geography. Population geography, growth, population geography, distribution, Malthus, Marx, population geography, DTM theory, migration issues, problems of racism, conflicts, women issues, other points. Somewhere side में लिखते चले जाओ. Recall syllabus, all of you. Try करो and see कि capital कहां link हो सकता है. Okay. We also discussed language, interactions, याद आ रहा है? Hybridization of languages, tribal issues, isolation. Okay. Social capital तो है ही, social well-being भी है. So whatever you can recall from your syllabus, recall that first. List down the points, please. लिखो, नहीं लिखोगे, your mind won't work. Writing is the most efficient way of making your mind work. Syllabus recall करो. Growth, India and the world, theories of population, distribution, density, migrations, Then I taught you sex ratio, literacy rates, dependency ratio, demographic dividend. याद आ रहा है? All the parameters I taught. Then I moved on towards language, culture, racial diversity, religion. Okay? India and the world, yes. Tribal issues discuss किया था हमने. Problems of population, hunger, poverty, development challenges, development parameters. You end the answer in social well-being and social capital. कुछ छूटा आपका points? Now think on your own कि कहां पर we have an angle of social capital. What are the angles of social capital? Women issues and women deciding their reproductive rights, वो भी एक angle of social capital है. Okay, the angle of social capital there. Anything which entails awareness building, anything which entails some kind of confidence building measures, okay, or government to people contact, that is social capital. Awareness building. जो trust आता है. Why did our population increase in the times of emergency? Because of lack of trust. सरकार करना क्या चाह रहा है? Why is it forcing us? Okay, so वहां पर एक एंगल आ गया social capital का. That you have a issue, you cannot implement undemocratically. Okay, democracy आया तो social capital भी आया. ठीक है? Okay. Social capital in terms of demographic dividend, talking about women participation, women rights, the developing that collaborative environment for labor issues, that's all social capital. ठीक है? Tribal issues, जो conflicts हैं, the alienation है, you are removing them from forest rights. You are disenfranchising them from forest land rights. वो भी social capital issues हैं. Anything which involves, you cannot have any type of social development without including the local populations. That's also social capital. The guys who have done topics of regional planning, yeah, the principles of regional planning, vertical integration, horizontal unity, public participation, yaad aa raha hai? All that is social capital. Okay, social capital, okay, refugee rights, migrants' rights, okay, social capital. And then, of course, you already have social well-being and relationship issues. Belongingness जो है, mental health, spiritual health. Okay, any program implementation, I said, any program implementation जिसमें कि grassroots involvement important है, you must involve the people, panchayati raj institutions, multi-level planning. Okay, older students, I hope you can recall these points. Okay, yes, public, absolutely, you have done disaster management with me, some of you, yes, correct. The vulnerability mapping, identifying the priorities under Sendai framework, VOSA approach, excellent. Yes, very nice, Debarga. So, new guys, don't worry, you will have the classes. आप अपने सोचो from angle of population right now. So, what I have done is, first I build the topic from the population. Then I start expanding. Can I use population discussions of industries mein? Okay. Yes, private, public participation is also social capital. Brownfield projects, greenfield projects, याद आ रहा है कुछ जानते हैं आप लोग? Okay. Yes, absolutely. Conflict resolutions. Yes. So disaster management, conflict resolutions, private public participation, grassroots rights. Absolutely. Entire element of equity in sustainable development is also social capital. आप तो बस मैप करो, ऐसे सिलेबस को सोचो, मैप इट. Social capital is not simply at the level of individuals, it can also be at the level of governments, any collaboration with governments, free trade agreements, any relationship between governments, between communities, between nations. Have you heard about tier 2 diplomacy? सुना है आपने? और people to people contact सुना है आपने? Confidence building measures सुना है? Okay, that is social capital. Yes. So political aspects हैं, social aspects, agriculture issues, right? You know about, yes, para diplomacy, correct. You know about EIA? EIA में we have something called as social hearing. That's social capital. Listening तो कर लो पहले, आंसर बाद देखा जाएगा बाद में. Absolutely, any constructive engagements जहां पे लोगों को involve किया जा रहा है. Okay. So don't trap yourself with geography right now. Go wide. Anything that requires trust, collaboration, teamwork, it requires mutual reciprocity. Okay. Nation, India's neighborhood first policy. Okay. Yes. Climate change issues, yes. Combating climate change requires a collaborative issue. Definitely, yes. South-South cooperation, G20, okay. AU into G20, North-South collaboration, okay. Collaborations, partnership in critical technologies. I'm going beyond population now. Okay, so you have a good range now. ठीक है, अब इसको डालना है आंसर के स्ट्रक्चर में, and more importantly, the answer must look like a geography answer. That's the next challenge. तो पहले तो दिमाग खोल लें आप, what it means, what is it, how is it linked. Then we'll come down to geographical, okay, structuring and relevance. Can I move on from here now? Okay, so you all got the points. So हाँ तो कर रहे हो, लिख कोई नहीं रहा. Okay, कोई बात नहीं, अगले बार दोबारा ज्वाइन करना कोर्स. Okay. अभी मुफ्त लग रहा है ना, इसलिए प्रॉब्लम है. When you pay for the course, okay, पक्का पढ़ाई करोगे, कैसे नहीं करोगे. ठीक है, अभी सर हिलाओ, कोई बात नहीं. Okay, भगवान भला करे. Okay, I consider you as Lakshmi. Okay. Okay. So now, storyline. Storyline. Question क्या था? Explain the concept of social capital in relation to India. Explain the concept of social capital in relation to India. Okay. So I'll start the answer with what is social capital? State definition. Relationship, trust, collaborations. It is one of the type of resource apart from natural produced capital, human capital, is based on associations. Explain it. Okay. Social capital is part of the third domain of social well-being, which is the domain of belongingness. Okay. Then diagrammatically I'll explain that social capital impacts what all things. It impacts, okay, conflict resolution. It impacts effectiveness of program implementation. Okay, so it impacts what? Conflict resolutions. It impacts effective implementation of development programs. Okay, it impacts people's participation and a grassroots relevance of a development. Social capital is important for effectiveness of disaster management. Social capital is important for national integration, national integrity. So some points कि उसका क्या क्या importance है, why do we need it? Okay, and let this be a diagrammatic one. Okay, then okay, how is the concept related to India? Okay, how is the concept related to India? अब मैं क्या करूंगा, इसको मैं thematic बना दूंगा. Deliberately, why? Because I want to bring in geography. Okay, so आप बताओ, in essay, social capital, collaboration, it is important where आपको पहला क्या strike करता है? What strikes you first? Collaboration, cooperation, where? What strikes you first? Issues related to, yeah? I mean, if I think collaboration, teamwork, okay, I see first as conflict issues. जहां भी झगड़ा होता है, it's because of lack of trust. So I see that first. Okay, fine, you can always disagree and say something else. So I have a sense of priority. So importance in India, in relation to India, is number one. Okay, social capital and its significance in conflict resolution. Most of the conflicts, be it caste conflicts, be it tribal conflicts, be it regional linguistic conflicts, okay, are a consequence of lack of trust, okay, lack of mutual sentiments. Write 4-5 lines here. Okay, so confidence building measures between communities is a very important, relevant, okay, aspect of social capital in India. Okay, as a case study, if you can recall, what have we done for confidence building in maybe Naxal regions? Okay, involve the local population, involve, okay, the local leaders, okay, and we have some interesting laws like the Tribal Rights Act 2006 that reinforces the faith in the resources. So discuss, okay, Naxal and tribal issues को मैं discuss कर सकता हूँ on social capital. One discussion. Okay. Second, okay, we say effectiveness of development programs. Effectiveness of development programs. So geography law, I'll say that one of the important aspects of efficient regional planning is the principle of local participation, grassroots participation, multi-level planning, okay, panchayat level planning, panchayat level monitoring. Okay, why? Because without social capital, you will have corruption, you will have disruptions, development will not be social, local area relevant. There are leakages. अगर नहीं होगा capital, will leakages होगा. Okay, distrust होगा, corruption होगा. Okay. So the panchayati raj institutions, the role of village panchayat, the role of gram sabhas, the role of block level development in development of state and national plans is example of social capital. Social capital and conflict, social capital and development. Okay? Okay, then the third concept of social capital in India relation mein. Third is add in disaster management. Okay, disaster management, what does Sendai talk about? What is the meaning of disaster mitigation strategies? Okay, the build back better, okay, strategies. The first respondents as local population, जो local लोग होते हैं, they are the first people to respond. So build their confidence and their training. Okay, so some of you have not done the class, ठीक है? Others you can relate to it. Disaster management is about, okay, local area participation. ठीक है? अच्छा. The fourth element of social capital, bring in women issues. Women and tribal, no, ये दो aspect ऐसा topic है an answer writing on an environment. Women issues, tribe and environment. I call them as potato, aloo. कहीं भी डाल दो काम करेगा. Any answer, any discussion, okay, any type of essays, okay, they work wonders. So women issues, now you know reproductive rights, okay, involving women as a part of population programs, okay, women as active education, TFR, case study of Kerala डाल देना, the involvement, how it has helped, yes, okay, UNDP वाला, ठीक है, fine, whatever you know. So I've discussed conflicts, development, disaster management, okay. Now, एक fifth dimension उठाएंगे, that India's rise in a global geopolitics, इसमें भी social capital है, but social capital at the level of nations. जैसे कि the role of diaspora, ये तो हम सुना आपने, diaspora is social capital of India. Okay, जो brain drain कह रहे हैं, ये ultimately आपके resources हैं. Okay, they are the ones who lobby for India, they are the ones who pitch for Indian priorities. कल जाके ताली मारना, ये CEO जो है Indian origin का population, I'm so proud about it. दे इंडिया में रहता, okay, बैठा होता protest में. Okay, I mean, don't write like that, but you got the message more or less. Diaspora is India's social capital. Okay, have you heard about something called as Project Mosam? सुना आपने? Project Mosam क्या है? India developing diplomatic ties with countries which have monsoonal history and climate. It's like common culture thing. All the areas which have monsoon type of culture and climate. Okay, so we are trying to link them under one collaborative, okay, platform. We call this as Project Mosam. So that's an example of social capital. Essentially, देखो, I must sell something to make a friend, right? कुछ देना पड़ेगा, right? I can't give aid. I don't have इतने पैसे हैं नहीं. I give 1 billion, China gives 15 billion to Sri Lanka. I can't fight that. Okay. Aid to Turkey, but okay, there are other countries which can beat India in terms of aid there. So what can I do? So to collaborate with, okay, the other countries. So what I can do is, my strength is, okay, I can provide digital technologies and develop the platforms. The digital mission for the world led by India. I can do that. हम आपको बहुत सारा ज्ञान दे सकते हैं, right? History है, पुराना है, yoga है, okay, message of Buddhism, okay, you know, so वो ज्ञान देते रहते हैं हम लोग. There's also part of social capital. What I can give you is my experiences. इतने disaster हो चुके हैं मेरे पास में. I'm expert at disaster management, right? So I've developed CDRI platform. Okay, कहीं पर होगा, I will be there to help you there. Perfectly fine. That's my social capital. My social capital comes with that we are among the most developed in the Indian Ocean rim. So fine, let's have collaboration there. That is what is our foreign policy around. Our foreign policy is about developing social capitals with the developing countries, Latin America, Africa, neighborhood policies, and so on. Yes, Biofuel Alliance, Mishti, mangroves, okay, International Solar Alliance, India's CDRI, I am assuming you have heard, okay, ISA, India's Biofuel Alliance, okay, India's commitment to net security provider in the Indian Ocean as a part of Indo-Pacific strategy. Okay, so all of this is part of India's social capital at the global level. बस इसके बाद तो मगर रैंक ही चाहिए और क्या, ठीक है? So these questions, okay, I started giving you some dimensions of geography and you expand that whatever way you can. Okay, I could not do paper 2. ठीक है, पेपर 1 किया, पेपर 2 मे बी वन अनदर डे. टाइम है. चाय भी खत्म हो गया, एकदम टाइमिंग वाला, चाय खत्म क्लास खत्म, राइट. सो incredible efficiency. Okay, online students, we continue paper 2 in some other day. Now, one of these days, I will have a workbook session of population geography, where you get a workbook, you sit with us, Ajay sir will lead the process to help you revise entire population geography. With that, okay, this unit, okay, is in control. Yes, write answers and show it to us, and try, okay, peer review also. आपका जो ग्रुप्स हैं टेलीग्राम के, okay, you can share your answers and peer review also. आपस में करो, no issues. Debarga, let's move at some pace, we'll see. I can't comment on that. I can't comment on that. Gaming. Yes, good point. This topic could have added the role of cooperatives and self-help group also. I agree. ये आप ऐड कर सकते थे, self-help groups and cooperatives. Okay, bye-bye. Offline guys, message दे के कल आना. Okay, I'll take a call around 6-7 o'clock. Okay, and be patient. Okay, bye-bye.